All right, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Deep Pockets YouTube page. We're going to talk about the season so far in Major League Baseball and give out some of our favorite teams and teams to be a little worried about at this time. It's May 6th, and my concern is out there for some teams, but I'm your host, Deep Pockets. We're going to talk about all of this stuff today. I've got my co-host and good friend here, Big Sean at Cards Nation Junkie on Twitter. Sean, I know we are about a little over a month into the season. We'll start talking about some teams here in a moment, but just what's one of your takeaways? How are you feeling so far about the season in 2025?
Well, one of the biggest things, as we talked about before the year, injuries, and more injuries. I feel like all the rotations are starting to change based on injuries. We'll talk about that Cubs rotation. We'll talk about some of these other guys that got hurt. Every time you look up at the end of the day, you see another guy get hurt. Teoscar Hernandez hurt. Looks like Corbin Burns is hurt. Just nonstop injuries in modern baseball. That's just kind of the way it is. Depth becomes such a huge play. It used to be that you could call a guy up from the minors and depth would be really important at the end of the year. You know, we're talking August, September, but now if you don't have guys to supplement June, July, August, you're not going to go out and win 90 or 100 games. You need a full 30, 35, 40 man team. And teams like the Dodgers and the Rays and all the teams that compete now have figured that out. It's sad to see a team like our Cardinals. They quite haven't put a lot of stock in their depth quite yet. But other than the injuries, there are some surprising teams. There are some things that I didn't think was going to happen this year. How about guys like Corbin Carroll, still red hot? Some of these weird teams that are still red hot, the Tigers. The Dodgers do look good. The NL West looks good, man. I remember we talked about how the winner of that NL West is going to be maybe our favorite to come out of the National League. A lot of storylines. We'll go over a few. Anything that crushes your mind here as we start our what are we on, the 6th week of the year? 6th or 7th week of the season. What's any big teams on your mind right now?
Oh, I've got some thoughts. I will say really, really quick. Yeah, the injuries. We said it in all of our preview podcasts that injuries are going to play a big role in Major League Baseball this season, especially pitchers. I mean, pitchers are dropping like flies. So that is a unfortunate thing to happen, but it's not even surprising.
I'll say Dodgers top 4 of their top pitchers gone. It's not even May 7th yet. I mean, that's insane.
You look at the rotation, and outside of Sasaki and Yamamoto, they're throwing a bunch of bums. I mean, Gonsolin starting every game or every 5 days, and then you've got like bullpen guys coming in. It's crazy that the Dodgers, biggest payroll in baseball, and they're throwing out bullpen games at times, and we're in May. It's insane. But I have a team that I want to talk about today, Sean, and they're on my list of surprise teams. And when I say surprise, you can take it either way. You can take it as a good or a bad. And I'm going to start with a bad here. And that for me is the Baltimore Orioles. Look, I didn't have a lot of high expectations coming into the season. I thought they could be good. I didn't think they would be great. But man, the pitching sucks. And this is going to hold them back all year. And I need to do a quick rant on this because what are you doing as a front office / ownership in Baltimore when you have such a great young core? You get all these you draft all these guys, you do amazing. You have a lot to look forward to. Baltimore Orioles haven't been great for a long time. Finally, the last 2 years, they've been getting better and better and better. This is year 3. Think about it. Year 3 after last year, making the playoffs, lost, of course, in the first round. But how do you not go out there and do something to fix your rotation? I mean, look at this, Sean. They have Kyle Gibson in the rotation, Dean Kramer, Charlie Morton, who I believe is getting to start tomorrow. You told me the other day he was like pitching in the 9th inning.
Oh my God! Turned on a game in the 8th inning. Charlie Morton allowing a 2-run double. I started laughing. I was like, "What is this?"
I saw that he's starting tomorrow apparently, but I can't get past what Baltimore did in the offseason. They signed Tyler O'Neill, Charlie Morton, and this Sugano guy, I believe. Sugano from Japan. I think he's kind of old too. He's like 35, 36 years old. I don't understand it, man. I really don't. I know Zach Eflin's on the shelf. I know Grayson Rodriguez is also hurt, so you take a little bit of that into effect. But even with those guys back in the rotation, can you really truly trust it? So I'm really disappointed in what Baltimore did in the offseason, and now they're kind of paying for it with these other pitchers who are injured, and they're banking on Dean Kramer to go out there every fifth day and do something for them. So I expected better of Baltimore in a competitive division, and they didn't do it. So they're one of my surprise teams in a way. I don't know what to say, what else to say about this pathetic front office that has thrown out this team, and especially in the rotation and bullpen.
Man, couldn't agree more. And just kind of an interesting study on, man, if you have, 5, 6 stud prospects, it doesn't always just work itself out. I mean, you look at the Heston Kjerstad, you look at Jackson Holliday, who did just have a big game. We'll see if he can stay hot this year. But you look at Kobe Mayo, even Adley Rutschman. He's not one of the top 20, 30 hitters in the league. He's a great catcher. I would love to have, he's probably one of the 5 best catchers in the league. But these are not guys that are coming out of the gates on all cylinders. And it's proof that it doesn't matter if you have 5 or 6 top 50 prospects. Usually only 1 or 2 of them are going to hit. And this offense is not kind of what I thought it'd be this year. And it's not enough to lead, that pretty crappy pitching staff that they have. And the bullpen is nothing really that special either. If Felix Bautista's back, he looks good. But I couldn't agree more. It's interesting to see if any of these names kind of pop up and become a star other than Gunnar Henderson and Adley Rutschman, although Henderson's also off to a tough start. So I agree. I think they're going to need, they made all these great draft decisions and development decisions the last, 3 to 6 years. But if the Jackson Hollidays and Kobe Mayos and all these other guys don't step up and become legit, stars, they're not going to have enough to compete in the AL East at all. I don't think. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, especially in a loaded East with the Yankees and the Red Sox. I mean, the Blue Jays aren't terrible. The Rays are always competitive. Look at who's dead last right now. I know it's May 6th. Things can change. It's a long season, but 13-21, Baltimore has certainly dug themselves a hole. They're hoping to get their pitching back. But yeah, Baltimore, one of my more surprising / disappointing teams this far in the season. Now, Sean, we talked about Baltimore. I know we've talked about a lot of other teams. Who's on one of your lists, whether it's in a good way or a bad way? Who's one of your surprise teams still sitting here in May 6th in Major League Baseball?
One of my favorite teams. They're not doing terrible. They're still alive by every sense of the word. But the Rangers, man, I really think they're gonna come alive here. That offense has to start hitting. I said it in our one of our first couple weeks after the season started. It looked terrible. Simeon, Seager looked terrible. Jock Peterson, oh my God, on one of the worst, most historically bad runs to start a year out of any player we've ever seen. That entire offense, I think it's going to start to heat up. I think it's going to get hot there in Texas. I love Wyatt Langford. I think Seager, if he stays healthy, is going to hit. I think Simeon's going to hit. I even like a guy like Josh Smith. I like a couple of their other prospects, and especially if DeGrom stays healthy. Evaldi looks pretty good this year. I do like their bullpen. I like Chris Martin. I like a couple guys in their bullpen. I think the Rangers are still going to compete for the AL West, especially with the Astros, not really looking like the powerhouse that we've seen in the past. I think the Rangers are going to kind of hit their way. Once we get to these warmer months, the Rangers are going to hit their way into a super hot month or two, and everyone's going to be shocked by how good that offense still is. I still have hope that all those guys are going to kind of regress to their normal. I don't think the Rangers are going to have a bad year. I think they're going to start heating up here pretty soon.
Love that, Sean. And I actually have them as a futures bet to win the division. So I like the confidence there with the Rangers. They just won tonight. They won 6-1 in Boston, and they just fired, I believe it was on Sunday after the game or just before, they fired their hitting coach. And so, maybe that sparks the team a little bit. Sometimes when that happens in the season, it just gives some guys a new approach or just helps, clear some things in the locker room. Little things like that can help a team start to go. And this Rangers team is full of veterans, leaders, and of course Bruce Bochy. The guy's won multiple World Series, so he's got good clubhouse skills there. So that's a good thing about the Rangers. You got DeGrom. If DeGrom can stay healthy, Eovaldi's been incredible. What a year so far he's having. I think his Cy Young odds have shot up crazy since the beginning of the season. So I'm not sure exactly what they are off the top of my head, but Eovaldi looks good. If Jack Leiter and Tyler Mahle can stay healthy, that's a decent rotation full of all the young guys and a mix of the veterans. And you saw today, Sean, I don't know if you saw it, but Evan Carter, who started in the minors this year, is now back up. So maybe that gives them a little bit of a spark too, and he kind of gets going. That's a highly touted prospect for them too. So yeah, I like this Texas team. This is really, really good team who still has a lot of potential to do a lot of good stuff.
I still think Peterson and Jake Berger, I think they're still going to get their numbers. They're still going to have over 20 home runs this year. It's going to be a little bit uglier than it's been in years past, but I still think that team's going to hit for a lot of power. They're going to hit a lot of home runs there in Texas. So I think they're going to be just fine.
Yep, absolutely. Let's talk about, so we talked a little bit about our surprise teams. Now, there may be a couple teams who have started slow. Maybe it's not looking great right now, kind of like the Rangers. I think the Rangers are kind of sitting there at 500, so we can probably have put them in this category or some type of a surprise team. But I feel like we both can agree about the Braves. We have talked about them being okay. Like, they just have too much talent to be that bad and as bad as they started. So I think the Braves are fine. I think we both agree with that. A team who I think is kind of maybe a little under the radar right now, who maybe no one's talking about, and I still think can be okay outside of the Braves, because I feel like that's the easy answer. I feel like I would have to say, I mean, I don't know. I'm going through the list here, and if off the top of my head I had to say anybody else outside of the Braves, I still think the Diamondbacks are okay. I know there's been some issues with the rotation, but they had been without I'm blanking on his name, Ketel Marte. Ketel Marte was out for a while, but the rotation has been shaky. That is probably my biggest concern. They've had some bullpen issues, especially the injuries to Puck and Martinez. So you'd like to see them be okay there. They're in a tough division, but I still believe in the Diamondbacks. I think they're okay. They have Corbin Carroll. They have a pretty deep lineup. I think they'll do enough. Are you concerned about the Diamondbacks at all, or are you on the same page as me?
I agree. I'm a little less bullish than I was at the start of the year, just because it looks like the injuries bit him pretty good. Ketel Marte, Jordan Montgomery's already out. Eduardo Rodriguez looks a little shaky. Galen looked a little shaky, but he just pitched tonight. He looked good today. He looks fine. Brandon Pfaadt looks fine. If Pfaadt and Galen and Corbin Burns, who they said he was injured. I think he had either a shoulder strain or something in his lower body. It sounds like he's going to come back this weekend. So, they still have one of the best rotations in the league. Still have a pretty decent offense. I still love Josh Naylor there. I just love that pickup. I think him and Marte are going to make a pretty mean combo in the lineup there. I still like Gabby Moreno too. I like where they are up the middle. How about Perdomo to start the year? Oh my gosh, that guy has been red hot. If he turns into a real bat, I think their offense is going to be fine. I agree. I think the issues with the pitching is a little overrated. As long as they're healthy and as long as they're normal and the velocity's there with all these big throwers, I think they'll be fine. I agree. I think the Braves are a little bit better set than the Diamondbacks. I almost thought those teams were very comparable to start the year, but it looks like the Braves, if they stay healthy, I think they're gonna run away with that NL East. Funny enough, I think they're already 7 games back from the Mets, or at least 5 games back from the Mets. Mets are off to a crazy start, but the Braves, man, oh my God, Chris Sale today with 10 strikeouts. Their rotation is going to be solid. It sounds like Strider's going to come back in a couple weeks. That's still one of the best rotations with Strider, Sale, and Schwellenbach there at the top. Their offense is going to be fine. Olson's going to get his home runs. Austin Riley's kind of exploding here the last couple weeks. I love to see it. I think Albies is going to be fine, and then Acuna, they're saying he's already looking at starting rehab assignment soon. So, if any book or anything out there, you're getting any action on the Braves this year to win the National League, I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of that lineup in fantasy. Even Sean Murphy's looking like he's bouncing back quite a bit. So they even have some prospect depth there. I still like that Drake Baldwin. I like some of their pitchers. AJ Smith-Shore, I mean, he had a no-hitter through 6 2/3 the other day. Man, I like the Braves a lot. I think I'm going to rank them pretty high on my list of NL teams going forward. But the Diamondbacks, I think, are going to be fine. I think both of those teams are going to aim for 90-plus wins, and I think they'll get close.
Yep.
Now, the only team that I had a question about that you discussed even before the Alvarez injury, what do you think about your Houston Astros? Are you getting worried about the Astros down close by you in Oklahoma City, where you're blacked out from even watching the games?
Oh my gosh! Don't get me started on that one, Sean.
Yeah.
Do not get me started on that. Yeah, to give a little bit of a background, I live in Oklahoma City, and I'm blacked out from 4 Major League Baseball markets. So 7 hours from St. Louis, can't watch the Cardinals game on MLB TV. 7 hours from Houston, can't watch a Houston game on MLB
That's
TV.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
And then I think
Rangers, right?
Rangers, which that's the closest. If there's any team that I could say, okay, fine, it's the Rangers because I'm 3 hours away, but still. And then the other one is the Kansas City Royals because they're in my market as well. And that's another like 7 hours away. So it's like, I can't even watch 4 teams. So when they're all playing separate teams, like that's 8 teams I can't watch because they're all playing, they're playing each other. So it sucks. But to answer your question, yeah, I'm worried about the Astros. I think the only good thing for them is that they're in a very weak league. Like the American League to the National League is not even comparable in my opinion. Like the Yankees are top and bottom the best team in the American League. And if they don't win the American League, that's on them. Like it sucks. That's on them. Injuries happen or whatever. National League, I think it's way more wide open. And so that's why I think the Astros still could do something just because of how weak the American League is. And what's interesting is on DraftKings right now, they have the 4th best odds to make the playoffs, which is interesting to me because even with a weak division, sorry, I shouldn't say weak division. I think it's more competitive. Even in a weak league of the American League, I don't know. I don't know if I would put that at minus 120 for them right now. The offense has been terrible. Yordan Alvarez is out for a month now, and he looked terrible to start the season. I know he can get going. He's a very good elite hitter. We know how good he is, so he can get going at any time. But if this injury lingers and if he just doesn't get back and maybe it's a lost cause for him this season, I don't know who else is going to step up in this lineup. I mean, Christian Walker has looked terrible. Jose Altuve is getting up there in age. Can you really trust Jose Altuve to keep you going in that offense? Jeremy Pena is so like up and down. Isaac Paredes, well, I mean, I don't know. He to me is just like a role player who does really well in a good lineup. But outside of all that, no, man, I don't have any confidence in Houston. Framber Valdez even seemed a little iffy this year. I don't know if you can truly trust him. Hunter Brown's looked incredible. That's probably the biggest positive out of Houston this year is Hunter Brown. But outside of that, I don't have a lot of good things to say about Houston. So I'm down on them. This is panic time for the Houston Astros because the Oakland Athletics are good, in my opinion, for them, for what they are. They're good, and Seattle's actually looking good. And then we just talked about Texas. So, yeah, I'm on the panic. I'm pressing the panic button for the Houston Astros right now.
All right, I got one question for you, Lexi. All right, take out your 401k. I want you to put the bet, I want you to think and put down the best bet you could possibly make. All right, I've got Lance McCullers over under 5.5 more starts this year before he gets injured. Where are you putting your entire net worth? What are you hammering over under 5.5 starts for Lance McCullers remaining this season?
Like you're at the roulette table and you're just sitting there pressing red 7, red 7, red 7, red 7. It's the under all day, baby. McCullers is not making more than 5 starts this year. If he does, let's all go buy a lottery ticket. Let's go to our local gas station. Let's buy a 32-ounce Dr. Pepper or whatever soda you like. And let's just buy a lottery ticket because if Lance McCullers pitches more than 6 games this year, or at least 6 starts before hitting the IL, then we got to just buy a lottery ticket. And yeah, so that's what I'll say. I'm taking the under.
Man, it's crazy. They've got Jeremy Pena leading off. Guy has never been like an on-base threat, really. I mean, he can hit for some pop for a shortstop, but that's about it. Ronel Blanco, who had a good showing last year, had the no-hitter last year, but he's an older prospect. I think he's like 28, or he was kind of he might have been a Rule 5 guy. That's not gonna. I mean, as a number 4 guy in your rotation, that's fine. But him, McCullers, that Gusto. I don't know if Altuve is not what he's been, and if Alvarez, imagine if he misses like 2 months, you're going to have Paredes and Christian Walker hitting like 3rd and 4th in this lineup for 2 months. I don't really see it. The defense really isn't there. That Altuve, oh my God, it was like a calamity of errors every time a ball was hit to Altuve in the outfield there the first couple of weeks. I mean, we'll see. Yainer Diaz kind of looked like this up-and-coming catcher. He's been off to a pretty slow start. I don't know. I'm not impressed with the rotation. Framber Valdez, a lot of big workload last year. Oh, my God. Can you imagine if maybe he went down for a while this year? I'm also pressing the panic button on the Astros. I don't see a lot of Hunter Brown. What do you make of this start from him? I know it's great, but I don't know if he can do this for 180 plus innings this year. I couldn't agree more. I like too many other teams in that AL West to be confident in the Astros so far.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem for me too is there's a weak back end of that rotation. So if Valdez isn't going to give you that ace type stuff, and it's just Hunter Brown, yeah, that pitching staff's not going to do enough. But the offense is probably my biggest concern. I mean, the bullpen's been good. The bullpen probably has been their brightest spot. I think they have like the 4th best bullpen ERA in baseball. But offensively, it's ugly. Tonight they scored 3 runs, and I think it was on a 3-run home run. Yesterday, I actually took the Brewers. That was a nice win for me. I took the Brewers over the Astros, and I think they scored 1 run, and it was like an error. Like it should have never happened. So they should have got shut out yesterday, which is proving my point about their offense. It's not been good. Tonight and tomorrow, we'll get into the betting segment here in a bit. I do like their matchup tomorrow, so we'll talk about that later. But if they can't hit this guy tomorrow, definitely a big time panic button to be pressing.
Man, listen to this. So 4 years ago, it was Springer, Altuve, Correa, Kyle Tucker, Yordan Alvarez. Listen to this 6 through back up to 1 of this Astros lineup. 5 through 1. Yainer Diaz hitting 5th. Zach DeZenzo hitting 6th. Jake Myers hitting 7th. Brendan Rodgers, Rockies throwaway, hitting 8th. Then Cam Smith, who looked great in spring training, but he's been ice cold. You know, these rookies, they don't always come out hot how you expect them coming out of spring training. And then Jeremy Pena leading off. I mean, that is just that's not a championship lineup as far as I'm concerned. We'll see if Alvarez can come back later in the year. But, man, the more we sit here and talk about it, the more worried I actually am about it. There's just no way that they're going to go and just – they're not going to have a hot month here anytime soon, especially with Alvarez out. So, I don't know. We'll see how this division shakes out.
Yep. Now, another team, Sean, let's get on the topic of this team because we both pretty much predicted this was going to happen. And we said this would be a major problem for this team if it did happen. And that was their 2 biggest pitchers or 1 pitcher goes down. That's the Chicago Cubs and Shota Imanaga and Justin Steele. Justin Steele's out for the year, confirmed. Shota Imanaga, who knows? That type of injury can linger for a long time. You know, hamstring injuries can be a problem. And we see it all the time. Football, of course. Oh, he's back. He's day-to-day. He's coming back in 3 weeks. Then it turns to 4 weeks. Then it's 5 weeks. Then it's 6 weeks. And then it's the whole month. And it's a whole year. So who freaking knows truly with a hamstring injury?
Man, I'll say this. Spencer Strider had like 4 rehab starts after his elbow surgery. Looked incredible. I think he had like 11 strikeouts in AAA through like 4 innings. Yeah, you got it. Came back, game number 1. I think he went 4 innings. And then after the game, grade 1 hamstring pull. It's fine. He's fine. He may make his next start. Now, all of a sudden, it's already 2 or 3 weeks later. They're saying he's going to need a rehab assignment. I mean, with pitchers, you never know. A lower body injury can be devastating. It could take an entire month. A guy who misses 2 to 3 weeks, it could take them an entire month just to get back up to where they need to be, especially when it's right in the middle of the season. So I think Imanaga is going to be out a few months.
Yeah, it seems that way. So like I was saying, and like we had said in our previous podcasts, this Cubs team is different. If those two guys, especially if those two guys are out for multiple months or just at a time, and now we will really see how good this Cubs team is. I think they're good. I think their offense is really, really good, and that's what's going to keep them above water until at least one of those guys gets back or that makes some kind of move. But right now, Sean, looking at this rotation, take those two guys out. You've got Colin Ray, Ben Brown, Matt Boyd, who I believe has been really, really good, and then Jamison Taillon. I don't know what they're going to do with the fifth guy. I think they might bring somebody up from the minors, but I just don't see that rotation being able to sustain the winning, and especially with the bullpen. Ryan Presley has looked bad this year. He's getting hit hard really bad. We just saw today he got rocked in extra innings. They gave up 9 runs in that extra inning against the Giants. I'm concerned. I like Porter Hodge out of the bullpen, but outside of that, I don't like anybody else. And I think that's their biggest issue. Like I said, Cubs, from a talent standpoint, is the best team in this division, and they should win it. But with these injuries piling up on the rotation, and if you take Matt Boyd out of it now, if he were to get hurt, you're looking at a really, really ugly rotation in Chicago. So, Sean, I have to ask you, maybe not as much of a panic because they still have a loaded offense, but how do you feel about the Cubs with Shota Imanaga going down and Justin Steele? What are your thoughts?
It's really interesting. I think without those injuries, I would be in love with this Cubs team because I think they filled out a ton of their weaknesses really well. Matthew Boyd is like their number 4 starter coming into the year. I really liked it. Now I really like it, but with those injuries, I don't know anymore. We've actually kind of differed on our opinion of Ben Brown, young guy, looks pretty good, but he's too many walks, too many pitches. He's a typical younger guy coming out of the minor leagues, trying to throw hard. He gets strikeouts, but he doesn't get you innings, which is what this rotation needs. Colin Ray, absolutely gross as their number 3, number 4. That's a guy that doesn't even belong really in the league. I mean, that should be a number 5 starter at best.
He's going to totally regress here the next couple of weeks. Tonight it kind of started. It's going to continue. But yes, go on.
But it's so weird because I like Ben Brown. I like Matthew Boyd in a way. Perfect number 4, number 5 starters. Love that in a rotation. But as like maybe they're 1 and 2 starters, that really scares me. Now the thing is that 5th starter spot, it looks like this Cade Horton, this number 1 prospect for the Cubs, who's doing well in AAA, is going to come up here in the next couple of weeks. I don't know. Projections don't love him, actually. I know we were looking at, like our Zips and Fangraphs projections earlier. They do not really like Cade Horton this season, especially at Wrigley Field. I'm worried that he's kind of more of a fly ball guy. I'm worried he might have a couple pretty poor games at home. But, the rotation does not look good. But could it hold up for that offense? Maybe. And the big name is Pete Crow Armstrong. I did not know that he was going to explode this way. I don't think hardly anyone knew he was going to come into the year this hot.
I didn't think so either.
Him and Tucker and Suzuki and even Ian Happ. I mean, that is a sneaky offense, man. I did not know it was going to be loaded like that coming into the year. Man, and they even have Matt Shaw, my guy at AAA, who I think is going to come up, steal some bases, going to play good outfield defense for them. Great guy for depth if any of those guys go down. Man, that offense looks really good. Dansby Swanson's hitting 9th for them. He could hit 20 home runs this year, having a guy like that. I don't know. Nico Horner, I like him, and Swanson 8, 9 in that order. That's sneaky. The offense is there. I'm not really giving you an answer on kind of their entire outlook into the season. I think they can survive. I hate to say that as a Cardinal fan. But I'll say this. If another pitcher goes down or if somebody in that offense goes down, I mean, imagine if Kyle Tucker got hurt. That would be a huge blow to that offense. Then I would be starting to get really worried. But no, not panic time in Chicago, sadly. I think the offense is going to be enough. And if they can maybe get Imanaga back, especially before the postseason, they're not going to be my World Series pick, but I think they're going to be fine. They're probably still by far the favorites to win the division. I don't know. What are some of your final thoughts on those pitcher injuries right now?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest concern is the pitching. Like I came into the year saying that because I know how inevitable it is for a pitcher to get hurt. I did not think Justin Steele was going to be injured and out for the year in April. And I didn't think Imanaga was going to get hurt this early on with a hamstring injury. So I kind of had that in the back of my mind. Like that would be the reason why the Cubs don't do what they're supposed to do. Like they should win this division. no doubt. Like I said, they're the best team in this division, from a talent standpoint. And for all the reasons you just said, offensively, like Pete Crow, Armstrong, and Kyle Tucker, if those guys are playing the way they are, that might be able to kind of hold them above water with that offense. So I think they'll be okay overall, but I think the division will be a lot tighter for a lot longer than what they would have had if they would have had the pitching. So like I could see, 2 or 3 of these National League Central Division teams hanging around longer, maybe pushing it out all the way to the end of September if the pitching's just not there for them. Now, we'll see what they do at the deadline when it gets closer to that. Let's see if they make a big move to improve the rotation and what else happens. But yeah, I think they'll still be okay because of the offense. But I do have I'm on the panic meter, but like it's low. Like if it's like between 1 and 10 and 10 being the most panic, right now I'd put like at a 3, and only because of those 2 big pitchers going down. So yeah, I think that it's definitely there, but not fully there like I am for Houston.
Man, it's kind of funny. With Alcantara looking absolutely terrible for Miami, the list of starters that are really going to impact the team kind of coming into the deadline, there's really not much there. The only teams that are totally going to be out of it are the Rockies and the Marlins and the Pirates, and Skeens is not going to get traded. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't think there's going to be a lot of market out there for some of these, somebody like the Yankees and the Cubs. Speaking of Ryan Presley, I hate to go on a crazy tangent here. Man, what is up with relief pitchers in Major League Baseball, man? I do not understand this. Everyone talks about when we're in fantasy football time, like, oh, running backs, don't draft a running back over 25. They fall apart. No, you want to know the least durable, not just in injury, but in talent position in almost all of professional sports. It's relief pitchers, elite relief pitchers. You look at a guy like Craig Kimbrell, that guy was going to go to the Hall of Fame, and all of a sudden he falls off the freaking face of the earth. That guy's ERA shot up over a run just in the span of like 4 seasons. All these pitchers just fade so quick. You look at a guy like Devin Williams, his ERA is over 10. He's what they said, he allowed more runs this season than he had the last 2 seasons combined. I don't understand. Ryan Presley, now his ERA shot up to 8. Even Mason Miller, who is unhittable as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I watched that guy pitch. I'm like, okay, he can throw 103 on the black and then, put a slider in the dirt. He totally blew a save the other day. His ERA is almost 5. Emmanuel Clase had a terrible 2023, great last year. Now all of a sudden his ERA is almost 6 this year. I don't understand. Is that just, how is it so variable year to year with these relief pitchers? I don't get it. To have a stud relief pitcher for 3, 4, 5 seasons, it just doesn't happen anymore. That we're not going to have a guy. The idea of getting a guy saves is a little different now. But there's not going to be anyone who touches 300-400 plus saves anytime soon. All these guys, you could even say that I would say maybe 4 of the top 6 closers right now I don't trust in the 9th inning right now today. I mean, maybe Mason Miller, he just had 1 bad game, but I don't understand it. We don't even have to discuss it. It's a very macro topic. I'm just, it's just one of the weirdest things about the game of baseball, and it's been going on for almost a decade now. These guys just go up and down, up and down. You even see teams that make it all the way to the World Series. They typically have a change in the back end of their bullpen by the end of the season because everything is just so up and down. And a guy comes on. You look at our Cardinals, Phil Maton, kind of a reject guy that got signed super late in spring training. Up here he is. He's one of the best middle relief arms in the league. All of a sudden, I don't know. It's just so finicky. It's so, we'll change this one thing about him. He'll throw this pitch, 20% more, and it either springs him into success or he falls off a cliff and hurts his arm. It's just one of the most variable positions in all sports, and it's the weirdest thing going on in baseball right now as far as I'm concerned. I don't understand it.
It is bizarre. And it, like you said, it almost feels like if a guy has 3 really good years and then we start calling him elite, then he just falls off a cliff and he's like nothing. And we kind of said it too going into the season. Now, I didn't think there would be this much of a drop off, but Emmanuel Clase, like last year, was dominant. Like got Cy Young votes, I think, for how good he was and the amount of like just dominance he had. And now he's putting guys on base every inning when he comes in, and his numbers are just looking awful. He's got like a north of 5 ERA. yeah, it's weird to see a guy like him who's young. It's not like he's up there in like the 30s. He's like, I think he's still like 26, 27. He's struggling, man. And maybe a lot of it has to do with the amount of work he put in last year. He was pitching all the way up into the ALCS and basically every game. So maybe that's playing a factor. I don't know. But you're right, Sean. Like these guys are on such a short leash. And look at Ryan Helsley. I think that was probably the most predictable guy to drop off from last year. Like incredible season last year, was dominant. And now you're looking at him every inning, every time he comes out there. There's a guy on first. There's a chance for a team to take the lead. Or yesterday, he was inches away from giving up a 3-run home run to tie the game. So yeah, his numbers look awful. And I was looking at his metrics page, his Savant page. He's walking batters. His walk percentage is 13.8%. That's terrible. Ninth percentile at the bottom. So there's just not a lot of good things. So you're right. All these relievers, you truly can't trust them, and they fall off pretty fast.
I'm looking at top relievers in baseball. I just Googled it, and it's got their ERAs right here. We've got Mason Miller, 4.61. We've got Luke Jackson, 6.0. Clase, 5.87. Kenley Jansen, 5.79. Raisel Iglesias, 4.85. Ryan Walker fell off a cliff. And, of course, Devin Williams, ERA over 10. Probably the biggest reliever pickup in the last 2 seasons. I don't understand it. And I'm sure next year Devin Williams will probably be one of the best closers in the league again. I don't understand it. Yeah, we'll see if Helsley can stay alive before the Cardinals trade him. I know that's something me and you both want to see here pretty soon. I hope he has a hot month and the Cardinals are able to get something back for him, because
that'd be nice.
I don't know. Real quick, what do you think about the Cardinals? I know we haven't gone over them much. What do you think in general of our St. Louis Cardinals? They're not out of it by any means. The offense looks a little sneaky. What are some of your biggest takeaways from the season so far? Liberatore, another great game today.
That's what I was going to start with, was Liberatore. I mean, he's been awesome. His numbers have been great. He's not walking guys. He's very elite in that area where he's not allowing guys to get on base. I think he had 3 tonight, of course, but overall this season, he's got a great strikeout to walk ratio. So that's looking good. I mean, I think
he leads the league. I think he leads the National League in K to walk percentage. Anyway.
Yep. I mean, I think it all comes down to they're finally solidifying a role for him. Like, he's not playing the what am I doing today game. Like last year, he was a reliever, then he was a long reliever, then he was like a setup guy in a way, and then he was like starting games every like 12 days because they needed a guy to pitch, a load of the innings. So now that he's like in his role and he knows what he's doing, I think that helps him. Who knows? Maybe he falls apart and he just has a mediocre season. But so far, I like what I'm seeing. He's got the potential. He was a first-round pick for a reason, so the talent's there. I won't say that he's great or good or I'm like happy with everything yet, but I am happy with what I've seen so far. I hope it continues, because I think he's been probably our most consistent starter out of everyone else this year. There's been the guys who have done well, but also some pretty big blow-up games. Outside of that, I think Liberatore has been great. I think the offense has been good. They have Paul Skeens' number. Paul Skeens cannot beat them, which is crazy to say. I think the offense is fine. I think the biggest question mark remains the bullpen. Can they hold games? The rotation's been good enough. Sonny Gray's kind of iffy, hit or miss. Miles Michaelis, flip a coin on him. The rotation, I think you're just going to get a lot of question marks. Same thing with the bullpen. But overall, where we stand right now, right about 500, May 6th, I'm happy with where we're at. I can't complain. I can't say that I'm mad that we're right around 500. I think we'll be okay. We'll see how we keep doing. But the offense is coming around, and so is Wilson Contreras. So I'm happy about that.
Man, it's crazy. These pitchers, Graceffo looked good. Michael McGreevy the other day looked fantastic. I think out of McGreevy, Graceffo, Quinn Matthews, Tink Hence, Tekoa Roby, if one or even 2 of those guys can be real major league starters just in the next 2 seasons, we have Sonny Gray next year. Imagine a rotation of maybe Gray, Liberatore, 2 of those guys, and even if we sign someone, that's a legit MLB rotation with some of these young hitters that actually look pretty sneaky. Nootbaar, Donovan, Ivan Herrera. Again, do I trust the Cardinals in free agency? No, but we'll see. I mean, It's funny. I think our depth is actually there. I mean, it looks like we have depth at our catchers, our middle infield. We have a couple guys that are starting to spark. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm worried. I don't know if we'll catch the Cubs, but I'll say this. I think expectations in that clubhouse should be finishing second in that division and really competing all year.
And they can.
I do believe that.
And Sean, what's funny to say is we came into the year when we did our podcast, we said there's a lot of potential with them because of their offense. Like there's a lot of high ceilings for the offense. Like we said, all the guys. And if they could just do what they've done so far this season, like there's been some games that they've, laid an egg on offense, but what team doesn't do that? Every team does that. The Dodgers do that. It's just if the pitching can be good enough, they'll go over their win total easily, which was like 75.5, which I'm still kind of surprised about. Like I think they're going to go over that number if they stay to these expectations. What's crazy to say though, Sean, is they've been incredible at home, which is so weird. 14-6 at home with like nobody in the stands. Like this is the most abnormal start to a season at Busch Stadium in terms of like a fan base, like people actually going to the games. Weird. 14-6, and on the road they're 4-13. Just super bizarre. Am I like right?
Man, I'll tell you this. One of our best buddies who went to the game yesterday, he got green seats, so he got all-inclusive right behind home plate, literally the front seat right in front of the on-deck circle for the Pirates last night. He got those tickets, I think, for $102. Like all you can eat and drink right by the on deck circle. I mean, if you're a fan from New York or something and you want to come to a cheap game, look up when they come visit St. Louis this season, and you're in for a little treat. Because I mean, these tickets are so cheap. You can get right behind the Cards dugout for $20-$30 this year. There is no one coming to these games, man. It's kind of freaky, but I agree. It's great that they're doing well at home. I don't know. I hope they do well enough to where we can start packing the stadium a little bit more. But
Sean, I have one more point to make, and then let's move on to the next point about this baseball segment. But last season, on this exact date, May 6th, we were about the same. We were 15. The Cardinals were 15-20 with a run differential of -33, which tells you they were pretty bad. Like they lost a lot of games and by a wide margin. This season, they're 18-19 now. And their plus run differential is +2, which I think that kind of tells you they've been in like every game. Like, yeah, they're not blowing teams out, but there's very few games where they've like just been completely blown out. And I feel like last year at this point, there was like 4, 5, 6 games where it was like, oh my gosh, like this is embarrassing. Like it's 12-3 or 14-5. We've got Brendan Donovan going in there to pitch or something stupid. So that's a positive. Like I know it's May 6th, things can change. But it's nice to see that the run differential is not as steep as it was last year at this point. So just a little positive that they're out there.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, awesome. And then we'll get that crowd going when I move back in a month. So don't worry about that. We'll be out there and getting the crowd rolling and back to Busch. All we need is some deep pockets back to St. Louis. But yeah, Sean, I know we have talked about all these teams. Has there been a team that we missed at all that you want to mention, or do you want to go into the fantasy segment and bring up a few players that you want to look out for?
Yeah, not really. The only weird thing is, man, those frisky Tigers, the frisky Detroit Tigers. I got some family in Detroit, man. They're fun to watch. Spencer Torkelson taking off, Riley Green heating it back up. It's interesting. They traded Flaherty last year, and ever since, what was that? Maybe like the end of July last year, they've been red hot. They've been like one of the 3 best teams in the league since the end of last year. So we'll see if they can stay hot. Skubal can stay healthy. I like their lineup a little bit, but we'll see. No, other than them, I think we covered a lot. The Dodgers are good. The Padres are good. What's new? The Mets. I'm not sold on the Mets. I think their record's a little bit of a mirage right now, but they're going to be fine. The NL East is going to be interesting, and the NL West is going to be really interesting. But it's kind of shaping up how we thought with some of these teams. I wonder if Juan Soto will ever live up to that contract. Funny enough, but I think the Tigers are the one team I got my eye on, and we'll see. I really like some of those young guys too that the Tigers are bringing up. So we'll see if they can stay hot.
Well, Sean, that kind of gives me the perfect segue into a player I was going to bring up, and you'll probably laugh about it, but it's kind of true. Part of the Tigers, Javier Baez, is the guy having a resurgence here in Detroit. I mean, maybe his little metrics page doesn't show that, but you can't always look at that because he's hitting the ball well. He's hitting home runs. He's playing good defense, and he's doing exactly what the Tigers have been trying to have him do, and that's be a good baseball player for them for the contract they're paying. So Baez, I believe he's hitting, which for him is crazy. Javier Baez is like over 300 batting average right now. And again, it's May. He could absolutely fall off a cliff any given time. But yeah, maybe somebody you want to target if you're in a deep like league. He's batting 309 with an 829 OPS and 3 home runs. I don't know how much he is striking out. I think he's actually limited his strikeouts too. In his last 4 games, he's only struck out 1 time. Maybe he figures something out from the strikeout standpoint. But yeah, it's kind of crazy to say, but this guy fell off a cliff so much that he wasn't even owned in fantasy leagues, and now he's kind of trending into more of an ad. And look, they're playing the Rockies this week, so if you are able to add a guy, for a spot start week and just kind of plug him in your lineup, I think Baez is a great ad this week, in my opinion. And then kind of see where he goes from there. If he keeps hitting, great. If he's not, he's an easy drop. So Baez would be a guy that I'm kind of looking at. Maybe he gets comeback player of the year. Who knows? What do you think of Baez, Sean? Is he a guy that you would target, or are you a guy like he's going to fall off again?
I definitely think it looks real. It looks real, and especially since they put him in center field, I almost like I've been watching a couple of these Detroit games. He almost looks like he's got some new life to him, playing center field, playing a new position. Looks like he can really play defense well out there. By All-Star break, no, Javier Baez is not going to be maybe owned in any fantasy league. I'm worried about him, but this year I love him. I love him going to Colorado. In fact, it's funny. Colorado plays all home games this week. They got rained out today. Looks like a doubleheader tomorrow. But if anyone's listening to this in the next couple of days, the Hunter Goodman, Beck, some of those Rockies guys that you're afraid to have on the road, and this is the week to have them. My biggest guy coming up is that Bubba Chandler. I think he's going to have a lot of success when he comes up from AAA for the Pirates. The Pirates have kind of shown they are kind of entering into those teams that really know how to develop pitching. The Rays, the Dodgers, the Guardians class, the Astros class of developing these pitchers. The Pirates have done a great job, and I think Bubba Chandler might be the next one. I don't know if he'll, get a lot of wins for a pretty pathetic team there in Pittsburgh. But I really like Bubba Chandler. And then my only guy that I'm looking out for fantasy-wise is the guy who came in after the opener yesterday, that Ben Kasparius with the Dodgers. I think that guy's good. He shown a lot of new stuff this year. I think his velocity is up like 4 miles an hour. I think that could be a legit guy. He came in, I think, yesterday against the Marlins and pitched like 4 shutout innings or something. He's going to have probably a pretty limited workload. But if you have those guys into the rotation with the Dodgers, the Astros, the Guardians, the Rays, pick them up, take a chance. But Bubba Chandler is my guy in the next coming week, so I think he's going to come up with the Pirates and really explode.
Another guy that I'll throw out there, and it's because I watched this team and I've ripped him a lot this year. And of course, I just started ripping him on Sunday, and he's been really good since then. But hey, Alec Burleson might be heating up. He hit 2 home runs ever since the day I texted my group chat and said, "Is Alec Burleson's career already over?" He hit a game-winning double down the line against Paul Skeens today. So I think Burleson might be heating up a little bit. I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to, but that's just another guy I would look at to maybe target if you're in a categories league or just a fantasy points league and you need somebody from your bench. He could be a candidate because coming into the year, he was projected, I think, close to 20 home runs again and, middle of that order for the Cardinals. So we'll see. I think he could be another target. We'll see how he does this next week or two, if it's real or not. But he started slow, and some guys just start slow for the season. Wilson Contreras was another guy. I know he's not a guy that somebody would drop, but Wilson Contreras started slow too, and now he's starting to heat up. So it just takes a while for some of these guys. But Alec Burleson was another guy on my radar to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, and the biggest piece of advice I have for fantasy watchers out there: do not hesitate to buy low. I mean, you look at maybe last year. I remember at one point I was prepared to offer Anthony Volpe for Francisco Lindor, kind of middle of the season last year, and I was like, "Oh man, I can't do it. Lindor might have fallen off a cliff." I don't know. Oh my God, would have been the best trade in all of fantasy. Like this year, you look at a guy like Yordan Alvarez. Oh my God, if anyone's willing to give him up for something small, like if you were going to go out there and trade like Hunter Brown and Carson Kelly or something crazy like that for Yordan Alvarez, I would hit accept so fast it would hurt my finger. All these other guys, even Corey Seager, Marcus Semien. I think any of these guys who have just such a long track record of being good, it's hard not to buy low. I say go out there and do it. Even some of these pitchers, Chris Sale might have, the ship might have sailed on, your ability to go get Chris Sale, because I think he's about to start to heat up. 10 strikeouts today. He looked great. And then you got to think with pitchers, the guys who are on the better teams with the good offenses, those are the guys you want. The guys who can allow 3 runs and still get the win, those are the guys you want in your fantasy roster.
Sean, a guy who I would, if I could find the right target, a guy who I am still not sold on in terms of staying healthy all year, and he's looked good, and you could maybe get something out of him. I'll be honest, I still think an injury is coming from Robbie Ray, and you could sell him, man. I know he's in a pitcher's park. He's on a good team right now, the Giants, and it might be hard to do, but do you really believe he's going to go full season without hitting the IL and maybe sitting out at least a month? I don't know. Are you worried about Robbie Ray at all, or do you think he's okay?
No, I agree. I couldn't agree more. In fact, I really like that Giants rotation. In fact, Justin Verlander actually – I'm not saying he's back to prime Verlander, but he actually has looked pretty dang good. He had a quality start. His last time out looked good today. But yeah, Robbie Ray, he may have a couple good months, but I do think I don't think he's going to survive the whole season. I really don't.
He's got the Cubs tomorrow, so let's see how he looks against the Cubs in Wrigley. That'll be a tough matchup for him. But, he's coming off a start against the Rockies, and you can almost always take those starts with a grain of salt because the Rockies are just pathetic, and those are premium matchups. If you get a starting pitcher against the Rockies, even if it's in Coors, you just got to you roll the dice with it. If they hit him, whoever that pitcher is that game, so be it. It is what it is. But the Rockies offense is literally a minor league offense. Just disgusting and bad. So
last question I'll throw at you. Not much to talk about because it's about the Miami Marlins, who are not even worth mentioning on any sort of podcast or video. But Sandy Alcantara, let me pose you this. You're in like a dynasty league. Maybe you keep 10 players or keep 20 players. Are you dropping Sandy Alcantara in a 10 or 12 team league? I mean, what is the outlook on a guy like that? I think he's going to get traded. He looks healthy. His velocity's there, but man, the walks are way up. He looks terrible. What are you looking for in a guy like that? Are you holding on to him and hoping he gets traded to a better team later in the year? What are you thinking?
Yeah, if I'm in a dynasty league like that, and it's something that, he's still young and he's coming off the injury. So maybe he's just super rusty. That's the only thing I can think of right now because he's looked bad. Now his 2 last starts have been against the Dodgers. Those are 2 tough matchups. Maybe he figures it out after the Dodgers or just looks at least somewhat better. But yeah, in a dynasty type league where you have a pitcher like him who has the potential, he won Cy Young just a couple years ago. I think you do hold on to him. I think it's a little too early to drop him. Now, if we're going into June, July, and then, of course, August, and he still looks like this, then I think it might be safe to drop him. I just think May is a little too early. Now, if you're talking about just a regular league like we're in, I say drop him. Honestly, if there's a better matchup that you can find for that week and you need to win, if you need to get a win, I think you did it, Sean. You dropped him. I agree with you. I would have done the same thing. He has not looked good at all. But if it's a dynasty league, I'd keep him in a dynasty. If it's just like a regular league that you're playing year by year, I'm fine to drop him.
Okay, I'll give you a fantasy breakdown, fantasy prediction. Okay, I'm going to give you Matthew Boyd, Sandy
Okay.
Alcantara, and let's throw in a guy like Christopher Sanchez.
Ooh, okay.
Next, maybe 2 to 3 months,
Okay.
going into after the deadline, the meat of the fantasy season. Which of those three? Maybe give me 1, 2, and 3
Yeah.
for those three type of guys. So kind of those
Ooh,
middle of the pack,
I love
top
that.
40 starters. What do you think if you had to give me maybe
That's a
three?
great question. And it's crazy that the answers I'm about to give you are what they are because
Mm-hmm.
before the season started or 10 months ago, I probably would have been like, what am I talking about? Like, did something happen with these pitchers? Right now, number one, Matt
Mm-hmm.
Boyd. I think Matt Boyd has looked the best,
Yeah, that's crazy.
and he's on a good team. I mean, even last year,
Yeah,
he was
great
pretty good.
offense.
Was he with the Tigers
Mm-hmm.
last year? Was it? No, it was the Guardians, right?
Yeah, he's Guardians, right? And he only made like maybe 5 starts. He only had like 40 innings, and he was shut down. He looked incredible,
Yeah, he was great
if
for
I
them.
remember correctly.
Yeah, because he was starting for them in the postseason, and he had he did his job. Like he was going into those games, like pitched 4 or 5 innings, and like gave up 0 to 1 to 2 runs. So yeah, he's really backed it up. And into this season, he looked really good yesterday against the Giants. I think he just gave up 2 runs, but overall this season looking great. So I would say Matt Boyd number one, and then I'd keep Christopher Sanchez number two, and yeah, Sandy Alcantara number three. I
That's
haven't seen
interesting.
enough from Alcantara, and isn't that crazy going into the season? Like you're talking about a guy who, like I said, won a Cy Young award, and now we're talking about possibly dropping him from leagues and
Yeah.
ranking him third among those three players.
Yeah, 1 month into the year, we're Carlos Rodon is just like you're salivating. If anyone is trading you Carlos Rodon for Sandy Alcantara, that's I did not have
It's
that
insane.
2 months ago. I didn't have that.
Yes, insane, dude. Perfect. Any other fantasy outlooks before we move into like the quick betting segment that we're gonna do?
Now, nothing. Just my takes earlier, which is
Yeah.
Rangers. Man, I think that offense is good. I think the Giants are also good. I think all those hitters are going to stay hot. I still like Jung-Ho Lee, and I like Heliot Ramos, and I really like Willie Adames is finally coming around, like we talked about. Matt Chapman, I love that Giants offense, and I love that Rangers offense. Any of those guys, I really think if you can still somehow get Wyatt Langford for cheap, this is the time to do it. I think he's going to be one of the best young studs in the entire league for the next 5+ years. So, but that's nothing other than just you want to be attached to those good offenses. Anyone that Cubs offense, you just want to be a part of it.
Yeah, I love Adames is starting to get going. Like you said, he had 2 home runs on Sunday, so that was nice. He's hitting or slugging .538 in his last 7 games, and he started slow, but new team, new ballpark. I think it takes a little bit for those guys to get familiar with it. Once they get a groove, they'll be fine. No, Adames will be fine. So yes, 100% on him. All right, cool. We can go into the betting segment and just talk about some of these games tomorrow. We don't need to go full like deep in depth with these matchups, but let's just give our quick thoughts on the games because I know I have a big following on Twitter who like to just listen to what our leans are on specific games. And we've been deep pockets on here has been pretty hot. We just hit 2 bets tonight. We won yesterday with the Brewers and 2 on Sunday. So I think five in a row on straight bets, which is nice. Tonight we had the Cardinals money line and the Rangers. So hopefully we can continue that and help people make some money and beat the books. So we'll just go through each game. I'll just give a quick thought, and then if you want to give a quick thought, tomorrow we've got the first game after a doubleheader. It's Logan Allen, gross, against even grosser, Michael Soroka. So Cleveland Guardians and the Nationals. I'm not taking anybody here from a money line standpoint. If I was going to take anything here, I would take the over, and that's because of these 2 pitchers being pretty poor and the bullpens being a little messed up from today's doubleheader. So I target the over. It's sitting at 9. It's a little juiced to the over, but that'd be my lane. Do you have any quick thoughts on Guardians and Nationals, Sean?
Yeah, that Nationals offense, it looks sneaky, man. James Wood, that was kind of another one of our sleepers coming into the year. We'll see, though. We'll see. I like your lean. I do think, we'll see. But I agree. I think I agree overall. That'll be an interesting game. The Guardians, I'd like to see that offense get a little more hot before I kind of know more about what they're going to look like these next couple of weeks. But I think I agree.
All right, fair enough. Let's move into the next one. So this one, anything that I am going to consider for tomorrow, I'm going to put strong lean. I'm going to say strong lean before I talk about that game. So this game is a strong lean for me, and it is in the Astros and Brewers game. We're getting Framber Valdez at minus 130 versus Quinn Priester. I just ripped on the Astros. I said they're on a panic button for me, but I kind of like the spot for the Astros. They're trying to avoid a sweep, and Quinn Priester is a bum. If you look at his numbers, he just got lit up his last start. And yes, this Astros lineup has been pretty bad lately. But, I mean, if you just look at his metrics here for Priester, he walks guys at a very high rate. He's 6th percentile, bottom 6th percentile in that category. His xERA is up there pretty much about where his actual ERA is. He doesn't have a good chase percentage. I think Houston's got to have this game. You're getting Framber Valdez here at minus 130. Brewers offense, it's not like they're anything special either. They're kind of hit or miss. I think they're in a way comparable to the Astros at times. I strongly lean for the Astros right now. The only thing holding me back is Valdez has been shaky and the offense has been bad, but I think they maybe wake up tomorrow and win this game. So Astros strong lean. Sean, thoughts of this one?
Yeah, we'll see. My big thing is I don't know if the Brewers can hit lefties. I just, like you said before, some of those guys, Yelich, some of those guys in that offense, I don't know. I like Valdez, season long. I don't know how much I like Valdez, but against this Brewers offense, I really like him tomorrow. So I'm with you. I'm with you 100%.
Awesome. And then we've got Mitch Keller tomorrow against Sonny Gray. Minus 175 for the Cardinals, so a pretty steep price. Over under sits at 7.5. I have no confidence in betting the Pirates. Their offense sucks. I wouldn't bet the Cardinals at that price, but I'd say Cardinals are nothing for me. If you're going to bet them, maybe the 1.5 or something. There's nothing good to say about this Pirates offense. And Sonny Gray's had some good numbers against the Pirates. So it'd be a lean to the Cardinals. Sean, what do you think? Do the Cardinals sweep tomorrow? Betting aside, do you think the Cardinals sweep?
It's a good question. It's hard to sweep a team in the majors, but the Pirates are so bad, man. Pirates and the Rockies are just so bad. I'm kind of fading them every single chance I can get. I think Sonny Gray is gonna probably overmatch some of these hitters. If Cruz doesn't maybe hit a couple home runs tomorrow, I don't see how the Pirates score more than a couple runs. So I like the Cardinals. Again, I don't know if I like it at that type of odds, but I think Gray's going to go 6+ innings and dominate a pretty pathetic offense.
Yeah.
So I'm not afraid to take Cardinals money line there. Maybe Cardinals minus 1.5. Could be my bias showing. Helsley didn't have to pitch tonight, so we're going to have a fully rested bullpen tomorrow. So I do like Cardinals tomorrow, no matter what price you get it at.
And what you could look at too for this game is if you don't want to pay that money line price, if you really believe Sonny Gray shows up and the Cardinals offense can steal a couple runs early, to record a win, Sonny Gray currently sits at plus 130. So there's in my opinion, there's some good value there with that. If you think he can do that, he should go 6 innings at least. I mean, he left the game early last time against the Mets. He just didn't have it. He walked too many batters, but this is a different lineup compared to the Mets. I think he'll be fine. Day game. Cardinals should win this one. That'd be my lean as well.
Man, it's funny. Coming into the year, going back to fantasy, guys like Mitch Keller, maybe a guy like Mackenzie Gore and Mitch Keller were right there next to each other, like coming out of fantasy drafts. And, man, the gap between those two right now is significant. This Pirates team, I think, is going to be bad all year.
Yep, I agree. Giants Cubs, that's the next one. Day game at Wrigley. Robbie Ray versus Ben Brown. I know I just talked about Robbie Ray falling off and Ben Brown. I'm not too high on him. Cubs are minus 142, which I think that's a little steep. Personally, I think there's more value on the Giants here. If Robbie Ray just does enough and they can get to the 9th inning, or at least in the later innings with a lead, I think I trust the Giants bullpen more than I do the Cubs. And Ben Brown, like you said, his issues are walks. So a little worried about the walks with him. We'll see. Lean to the Giants, though, at plus 120. Do you have any thoughts on the Cubs and the Giants?
I think I disagree. I like I like the Giants. Like I said, I think I like their offense, but I think Ben Brown has something to prove this year. I think with those two studs going down for the Cubs, I kind of I want to see Boyd and Brown kind of pushed a little bit. I think Counsell's going to have to rely on Ben Brown going 5-6 innings, for the next maybe 5 to 10 starts because they really don't have another choice. So I'm interested to see if he can limit the walks and come out with a good game. And man, I don't know. At Wrigley Field, it's kind of all or nothing. And if it's nothing, it's going to be a tight game the whole way. I think. What's the over underline for that game at Wrigley?
That one actually weird. It's not even showing up on DraftKings. Let's see if it shows up on my other app here because usually it does. Usually it tells me. I feel like so. I'm going to say without knowing what it is, I'll say it's like 7.5 because I don't know what the weather's going to be like. But let's see. Tomorrow, 7.5 tomorrow is what it's 7.5.
Yeah, and I know Tucker hits lefties well, so he'll be in that lineup tomorrow. Might be a good, if you can get good odds. I like Kyle Tucker to have another extra base hit tomorrow.
Ooh,
Who's been pretty cold is Seiya Suzuki. I don't think he's gotten a hit in a couple days. Maybe kind of do one of your favorite props, which is the hits, runs, and RBIs.
Hits, runs, RBIs,
over 1.5.
Ooh, that might be a good target tomorrow. I might look at that one. Good call on Suzuki. All right. Next one, Mariners and Athletics. Yeah, this one's Brian Wu and Gunnar Hoagland. So Hoagland just got brought up by the Athletics. He's a young prospect who did really well in his first start. We'll see how he does tomorrow in Sacramento. But Brian Wu, probably one of the more underrated pitchers so far in 2025. I don't think that many people are talking about him. He's looked really good, super strong. Minus 155 on the money line. It's a pretty big price for them too against the Athletics. I still think the Mariners are the play tomorrow. I think the way Wu is pitching, even in this somewhat smaller park in Sacramento, I think he's got more stuff and more experience here to shut down the Oakland lineup. So I would lean to the Mariners here. Do you have any thoughts on this one?
No, I agree, 100%. I think that Mariners lineup is coming around. Did Julio Rodriguez, he hit a home run today or yesterday?
He did.
I think I think that Mariners lineup can compete. One of my other waiver targets recently has been J.P. Crawford. He looks pretty sneaky at the top of the lineup there. But it's funny, these games in Sacramento, they're kind of turning into one of those ballparks where, you're looking at, over-unders like 9.5. You're looking at almost like Great American or Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
Over-unders just because there's going to be some scoring. So with Wu, ground ball guy, strikeout guy, I think he can hold that lineup at bay. I do like the Mariners. That sounds good with me.
Definitely. The next one on the card was Mets and Diamondbacks. So the Diamondbacks just won tonight. Looks like the Mets have lost 3 of their last 4 now. Kodai Senga gets Merrill Kelly here. I'm worried about Merrill Kelly. Sean, we were talking about this Diamondbacks rotation, and Merrill Kelly's numbers just do not look good. He's getting hit hard a lot this year. I think I might be tempted to jump on the Mets here. Minus 125, that's not a bad price to get them at. And there's been some experience in this lineup with Merrill Kelly. So, yeah, I like the Mets here. I think I would also target a prop for Juan Soto. He's been pretty quiet his last 2 games in St. Louis as well. I think he kind of has a big one in I think hitter's park and a pretty weak pitcher in Merrill Kelly. So Soto props, I like him tomorrow, and I like the Mets money line. Thoughts?
Hey, man, I'm on my surfboard right now, and I'm surfing. You know what I'm riding? I'm riding the Pete Alonso wave, man. This guy is on fire. He's on fire, man. I just played Pete Crow-Armstrong and Pete Alonso in fantasy baseball. Got my ass kicked. I mean, these guys are hitting extra base hits every night. This is going to be maybe the best year of Alonso's career, hitting right behind Juan Soto. That Mets offense, I was a little bit nervous about some things, but man, it looks good. It looks good. Tomorrow, I think Kelly is going to get hit pretty hard tomorrow. Lindor, I think, had a home run, yesterday. Man, I like that Mets lineup for the foreseeable future. I'm taking them all. They might go on a little run here. I like that Mets lineup. I love Pete Alonso, and I like Juan Soto. When's it going to happen? I mean, he's going to have a week where he hits 5-6 home runs.
It's crazy. Sean, actually, to back you up with the Alonso thing, he has done well. 16 at bats against Merrill Kelly, 3 home runs with a 1.251 OPS. So,
wow,
good numbers against Merrill Kelly. Yeah,
and you mentioned it, Diamondbacks. I mean, you want to take any team against the Diamondbacks right now just because of their bullpen. Shelby Miller closing out games for them. I know that's a team we said we like, but that bullpen is starting to really get shaky here quick.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yes, Mets strong lean for tomorrow as well for me. We'll see if I get there with it. I don't even care to talk about this one. Dodgers, Marlins. It doesn't show who's starting for the Dodgers, which again is crazy that they spent all this money in the offseason and they're already at a point where they're just like starting random guys. I think it might be that Andrew Knack guy or something, if that's his name. I don't know. But Dodgers money line minus 230. Over under 9.5. I guess my only lean in this game would be to the over. I don't trust an under when the Dodgers are playing, and who knows who's going to pitch. So yeah, over or nothing for me. Anything on the Dodgers, Marlins?
No, couldn't care less. Won't be watching that crappy game.
Yeah,
maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I'll watch an Ohtani at bat here or there.
Yeah,
get me out of there.
We don't need to waste our time on that one. This one, I might actually have another pick in. I need to add it on here really quick. It's the Rangers and the Red Sox. So we're getting Tyler Mahle and Tanner Houck. Tanner Houck does not look good. And I don't know if the books just continue to think that he's going to show up and do something, but I don't want to lay minus 120 with him against this Rangers team and Tyler Mahle. So I'm leaning pretty strong to the Rangers right now on the money line at the even money that we're getting. Mally's looked good. Houck's looked bad. He's even looked worse at home, I believe. It's just not there for him this year. He's not getting the strikeouts that he did last year. He's getting a lot more pitch to contact. The Rangers offense, as we said, very sneaky, a lot of potential there. I like the Rangers tomorrow. That's one of my other strong leans in this matchup. Do you believe Tanner Houck, Sean? What do you think about him?
Give me the Rangers, man. That lineup is going to come around. Give me the Rangers all day. Give me some Wyatt Langford, extra base hit props tomorrow. I like the Rangers.
I like that
over the Red Sox. The Red Sox offense, though, looks sneaky. Even with Casas out, I still think I like that Red Sox lineup. I maybe look at the over in that type of game at Fenway. But, yeah, Tanner Houck looks pretty terrible. He kind of had his breakout last year, but the end of his season last year really didn't look that great either. I don't know. He might be kind of turning into the pumpkin that maybe he always was. Mizzou grad, right?
Oh yeah,
one of our guys. So we'll see. I definitely love the Rangers tomorrow. Tyler Mahle looks awesome. Looks like one of the top 20, 30 starters in the league right now. He looks great.
Yeah.
I like the Rangers. There's a couple teams I'm just gonna keep on taking, and Rangers are one of them.
I like that. Yep, me too. Rangers are a strong lean. Another one in New York tomorrow. It's Dylan Cease against Max Fried. Max Fried's looked incredible. I mean, I think he's going to eventually have one of those games where he gets lit up a little bit. I believe the guy's back for them. Why am I blanking on his name? The young guy, Jackson Merrill. He's back for the Padres. He returned to the lineup. So that helps the lineup get a little bit deeper there. Plus 150 on the money line seems appealing. I know Max Fried's been incredible. The Yankees lineup is good. Dylan Cease can be a little bit shaky at times too. I don't know. I'm kind of looking at the Padres money line just for some fun. Plus 150 is standing out to me though. So I know Fried's tough to fade, but do you have any faith in the Padres tomorrow? Or do you think you just have to keep rolling with the Yankees and Max Fried?
It's a good question. At Yankee Stadium, right? So, Bellinger and Goldschmidt and all these guys can easily hit one out against Cease. I think Dylan Cease is going to bounce back. I think he's one of those guys that you could buy low on right now. I kind of like the Padres. I think this Yankees lineup is good. I think Aaron Judge is absolutely incredible. We shouldn't even go a whole podcast without mentioning Aaron Judge just because he's on fire. I mean, he's maybe the best hitter we've seen just in the last couple of years, but I don't know. I still like the Padres. I like Dylan Cease. I think he's one of the most consistent pitchers in the league. So I'm going to take Dylan Cease wherever it is. I'm going to say Dylan Cease even a little more consistent than Max Fried. I don't know if I trust Max Fried. When is he gonna go down, man? Yeah. I don't know if Max Fried's going to last 180 innings this year with the Yankees. So, and I think Dylan Cease will pretty easily.
Yep.
So we'll see. And I like that. I like that Padres lineup too. Machado looks like he's healthy, hitting it well. Fernando Tatis is back, man. One of the maybe five best players in the league right now. Looks great in the outfield. We'll see. I like that Padres lineup, especially with Merrill Kelly back. So with Jackson Merrill back. So give me the Padres tomorrow.
I like that Padres money line. We've got Phillies Rays. That'll be Christopher Sanchez versus Shane Baz. I mean, I haven't had success betting on the Rays this year. I think I'm like 0-2 with them. Just never showed up when I bet against them, when I bet for them. I think they could have a good spot tomorrow. I think Baz, if I had to profile both of these pitchers, I think I might slightly lean to Shane Baz here over Christopher Sanchez. I think Sanchez is good, but I could see him struggling a little bit in this park. So plus 110 on the money line for the Rays, kind of sticking out to me. I know the Phillies lineup is loaded and the Rays offense is kind of hit or miss, but I think they could score some runs tomorrow. I think we could see a Rays win with Shane Baz in a bounce back spot. So yeah, he got lit up, I think, his last start. I think he can show bounce back here too. So Tampa Bay would be my lean in this one, and the Phillies versus Rays.
Rays still playing in that minor league ballpark, Steinbrenner Stadium, George Steinbrenner Stadium. Man, they really are the Yankees' little brother in every single way. But yeah, I agree. I like the Rays. Yandy Diaz looks like he's out, right? I don't think he's going to start tomorrow, so we'll see. But that Jonathan Aranda, man, he looks like the real deal. I like that Rays lineup still. So we'll see. Christopher Sanchez kind of up and down. We'll see if his breakout was real last year. He's still coming on. I think he had a forearm strain earlier this season, so I think this is maybe his second start back from coming off his injury a couple weeks ago. But we'll see. I like Harper. It's funny. I was kind of low on the Phillies, but Castellanos looks good. I think he had 3 hits today. Their lineup looks like it may be not as bad as maybe I was thinking. Schwarber looks awesome. If you told me Schwarber hit a home run or even 2 tomorrow, that wouldn't shock me either. So I'd be too afraid of this game. I understand going the Rays. I probably would lean Rays too, but I'm too afraid of that game. I don't know if I'll touch it personally.
Yeah, I probably won't touch it. The Phillies bullpen is terrible. That's their biggest issue. Is they need to clean up that bullpen. If they don't clean that up, they're going to have a tough end of the season, or at least in the postseason if they make it there. So yeah, Phillies bullpen would be my concern, but lean to the Rays. Probably going to stay away from that one overall. In the next one, it's the Cincinnati Reds and Atlanta Braves. Hunter Green, who's been really good this year. Who knows if that injury is happening soon too? And Grant Holmes from the Braves. Minus 115 for the Reds. I know Hunter Green's really good, but I still am not a big believer in this Reds team. I think there's 2 or 3 good hitters, if that, in this lineup. And outside of that, it's a bunch of bums. I think I would go the money line here. Money line minus 105. I know the Braves have taken the first 2. I still think I trust Grant Holmes here more than I do Hunter Green in the Cincinnati lineup. So I'd be on the Braves.
Man, I couldn't agree more. Hunter Green, a lot of pitches in his last start, looked good. But man, Grant Holmes looks good. And all those Cincinnati guys are cold, man. Ellie is pretty cold. Spencer Steer's pretty cold. Matt McClain has been ice cold. Tyler Stevenson just came back off the IL.
Gavin Lux too.
Yeah, Lux has been. Oh man, he goes after a red hot start. Now he's been pretty cold. I think Holmes can shut these guys down pretty easily. They're away. They're on the road, just like how you see those Rockies guys. They do great at home, but the ball spins a little different coming out of the hand on the road, and they're not as good at hitters on the road. I think it's the same way for Great American Reds players. I think in Atlanta, I actually really like Atlanta tomorrow. The more I think about it, that's great value. It's a stud pitcher. I understand you don't want to go against Hunter Green. It might be a 1-1 game going into the 6th inning, but give me the value on the Braves side. I mean, think of that offense. They could put up 12 runs without breaking a sweat. Give me the Braves. I think I'm going to hammer the Braves tomorrow. I really like that lean, just with the plus money.
This almost feels like tonight's game with the Cardinals and the Pirates. Like, Pirates were favored because of Paul Skeens, and that was the only reason why. And it's the same thing here. Hunter Green is favored only, or the Reds are favored only because of Hunter Green, and that's it. Like, both offenses have just been very cold and inconsistent. The way the Braves are playing right now, there's more value with the Braves. So yes, I'm with you. Braves money line would be my strong lean in this game. White Sox, Royals. I mean, not much to say there. It's gross. Jonathan Cannon and Michael Wacha. Yeah, I'm good. You good with that one?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Pass.
Yeah. We'll pass on that. I have nothing to say. I have no action there. Baltimore. Oh gosh, here we go. Charlie Morton. Last year or two years ago, Adam Wainwright is what it feels like here.
Dang, true.
Charlie Morton and Baltimore
True.
going up against the Minnesota Twins and Simeon Woods Richardson.
Yeah.
I mean, over. It'd be my play. Over or nothing.
Baltimore should be able to game.
Over should be able to hit. They should be able to hit Richardson and Twins should be able to hit Charlie Morton. So 9.5 is the number. I think the over is the play for me. That's my lean.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm interested to see Thursday. It looks like it's going to be Dean Kramer against Joe Ryan.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God. I mean, if Twins aren't negative, like if Twins are only minus 110 or something, money line, God, go ahead and take out my savings account because I don't believe in this Orioles team, and we talked about it. So
yeah,
we'll see. I think Joe Ryan's going to go on a heater here. He looked great in his last start. So we'll see.
That's that one. And then the other game, I think I had it posted here. Yeah, Tigers, Rockies. So it got postponed yesterday, but they're actually postponed today. They're playing a doubleheader on Thursday. So tomorrow is just going to be the one game. It looks like it's Jackson Jobe and Chase Dollander. I mean, the way the Tigers are playing, you got to just keep rolling with the Tigers. Over under 9.5. The Tigers should be able to put up runs against Dollander. I don't know. If they don't, then it is what it is. But I think there should be some runs here. So 9.5. That's actually like somewhat of a low total for Coors, right, Sean? Like 9.5. That's what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, those guys are both two of like the top 40 prospects. Like at the end of last season, Dollander, do you trust and Joe? I don't trust either of them.
So let me ask you. I was gonna say, do you trust them in Coors for them to put
absolutely
up
not?
Under?
In fact, it's funny. A lot of the lines trust those, kind of high velocity guys at court. No, actually, oh man, I think that game's going to go way over. That Tigers offense is red hot right now.
Okay. I like that. Yeah. I mean, right now it's 9.5 at plus money. So even money, I should say, minus 120 to the under 9.5. So it's juiced to the under, which is interesting. I don't usually see that at a Coors Field matchup. So might be something to look at tomorrow night. And then the last one on the board, Toronto Blue Jays and the Los Angeles Angels. Pretty gross matchup here as well. Jose Berrios, who I never can get right, and UC Kikuchi. I mean, I guess the Blue Jays, they should win this game. The Angels are just a mess right now. Their offense sucks, and the bullpen's a mess as well. Minus 122 for the Blue Jays. I guess. I don't know. I would lean toward the Blue Jays. Any thoughts on the Blue Jays and Angels?
Man, I'll say this. Blue Jays season outlook, man, I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. Vlad getting that type of contract, I don't think he's going to be, scratching and clawing for hits this year at all. No. I don't really love their offense. I think Chris Bassett is not going to be what he's been so far this year. Berrios, I don't consider him some top 30 starter. I think he's a back into the bullpen type. I'm back into the rotation type of guy.
Yep.
So we'll see. I mean, who knows about a series against the Angels? We'll see. I remember the Angels had such a hot lineup. 2 or 3 weeks ago, everyone was saying, "Oh, the Angels, they're doing so well." Mike Trout got injured. Kyron Harris fell off a cliff, and now they're freaking terrible. So I don't know. I guess give me the Blue Jays on the road if you're gonna get decent odds with it. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
Angels won tonight 8-3. So just wanted to mention they did win tonight. So who knows? But I don't like either of these teams. There's just some teams right now who I don't want to bet, and I feel like that's both of these teams right here is the Blue Jays and the Angels. Like just gross. I don't have anything good to say about either team, and both of those pitchers, you truly never know what. You could see Kikuchi going out there and throwing like 6 shutout innings, sure, and then the next start you see him get blitz for 8 runs. Like it's truly that with Berrios too. Like you're flip a coin with those two guys, you never truly know. So. All right, Sean. Well, I think we are good. We just discussed all of the segments here in baseball for the outlook of the season, teams that we're worried about, teams that we're not worried about, betting, fantasy standpoint. I think we've talked about enough baseball. I just have one question. We're going to close it out here on this. So we're big Cardinals fans. July 31st comes around. It's the trade deadline. On August 1st, is Sonny Gray still in the St. Louis Cardinals rotation? Yes or no? Tell me why.
All right. I
No trade
am
clause as
gonna
well, by the way.
I'm gonna say yes for a couple different reasons. One, I'll try not to be vulgar, but I think this front office is the wimpiest, most pathetic. Roll with the flow. Don't do anything to upset anything. Keep all the people where they need to be. Let's not make any rash decisions. We've made like 3 or 4 terrible trades like in the last 5 to 6 years. We need to keep everyone. I think they're too worried about losing value in Sonny Gray that if they don't get some incredible deal, that they're going to think it looks bad on their reputation. They're not going to do it. 2, call me crazy. I think the Cardinals are going to be in it just enough to be too nervous to get rid of Sonny Gray. I think if some of these pitchers can be just sneaky enough, I mean, alone, Sonny Gray, Quinn Matthews, top 20 prospect, Matthew Liberatore, and Eric Fedde. I mean, that's not that's maybe one of the best rotations in that National League Central. We will see. We will see. I think the offense stays afloat, and I think we're hovering around 500. So I don't think they get rid of Sonny Gray. What do you think?
I'm going to say no as well. And for a lot of the reasons you said, they'll be hovering around like a playoff spot. Like they'll be like 2 or 3 games out of like a wild card spot or something. And they'll be like, no, we're fine. Let's keep Sonny Gray. And even if they wanted to try to trade him, I just don't think they would, because I think they know he has that no trade clause. So why even bother? And like you said, they don't want to upset fans. They want to keep fans like engaged. So yeah, I don't think it'll happen. But the reason I brought it up is because, like you said earlier, it's going to be such a weak market for the most part. Like a lot of teams will be in it. And I could see Gray being a candidate and a guy that some teams might want. And I remember you said this at the beginning of one of our podcasts earlier in the season. You said the Braves could be a great candidate for Sonny Gray if they need a starting pitcher. So I thought about that,
Yep.
and I thought that was interesting. So
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But all right, guys. Well, good stuff. I will be posting this on the YouTube page. This actually was recorded live, but it just makes it easier to post this, and I'll put it on my Twitter page, and people can see this as they like. This is going to go up before the game start tomorrow. So we just gave a quick breakdown to each game, strong leans. Any picks that are posted will be on my page under Deep Pockets. Hopefully we can stay hot and continue winning and beating the books. As always, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you like what you're watching, and give us some feedback if you want in the comments as well. But as always, best of luck. Let's continue having a great and a fun Major League Baseball season. We have a lot more baseball to talk about, and we'll be back on here for a podcast within a couple weeks. Best of luck, everyone, and have a great rest of your day when you watch. Later.